Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So when I wrote that intro, I thought for this speech, this is fantastic. I already have the content prepared because I was going to leverage some of these bits and pieces from when I was supposed to be Toastmaster. How many of you have ever lost a file and spent more time trying to find that file than it would have taken just to recreate it in the first place? Yeah. That was me yesterday. So we jumped into it. It actually wasn't that bad, but it was a good reminder. Today's speech is very selfish for me because this is something that I've been working on and in a leadership role for my job. We have a company of 40 people, but really it's only 12 full-time people on our team. And what we're trying to do is build a culture and instill that early on as we add new hires into the organization. My goal is to build a value system that I reflect on so that you're going to always experience highs and lows within work and personal life. But what is that foundation you can always go back to when you experience that? And so this is a system, a value system that I helped develop based on things that I've come across over my life. And it's called the Likes Value System, but it has nothing to do with social media. It's just my real simple acronym to remember the key things that I find important in my life. And LIKE stands for leadership, innovation, karma, environment, and simplicity. And we'll jump right into that. The first one is leadership. There's three key points based on my experience and what I've learned over time that really stand out to me that defines leadership. Number one, create a shared vision. Number two, encourage others to take action, empower others to take action. And number three, lead from the heart. I use this example here because it's fresh in our mind and it's our hero, Patrick Mahomes up there. But next to him is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, was a quarterback too. It's interesting. They're both about the same age. They've both been in the NFL for about the same amount of time. And they've both been extremely successful. Lamar Jackson actually won the MVP this year for the NFL. What's interesting is that playoff time comes around. And we understand playoffs are always different than the regular season. And it's always interesting to see how that separates. I mean, these are some of the best athletes in the world, but within there's always that separation. Both teams had a playoff game. The Baltimore Ravens, who were expected to blow out the Tennessee Titans, found themselves losing early on. And the game plan completely changed what Lamar Jackson could do. What was interesting was a shot on TV that I'll never forget. Lamar Jackson sitting on the bench with his head down. Almost you could read his thoughts, asking himself, how could this be happening? We were supposed to be winning. I don't get it. The next game was Kansas City Chiefs versus the Texans. Same thing, the Chiefs were expected to win. It was a home game. This was supposed to be just one small game onto the next. Kansas City Chiefs found themselves down by 24 points in the first quarter. I don't know about you all, but I was sitting there thinking, here we go again. The Chiefs are cursed. We can't win in a playoff game. But here's what was different. Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. He was not sitting there on the bench with his head down saying, how could I let this happen? In fact, he was with his teammates, creating that shared vision. Let's go do something special, right? He's already saying, they counted us out. Let's go do something special. And then he empowered them to take action. He said, all you have to do is start catching the ball. He didn't mean it in like, it's your fault. It was, if you just change that, we're good. And then he said, let's go get it. And what they do, they broke a record for coming back and destroying the Houston Texans, and the rest is history. That's the difference in leadership. When things get difficult, like how do you respond? Do you create that vision? Do you encourage others to empower them? And you lead from the heart. And that's what I took away from that experience. Innovation. Innovation for me is important. Creativity. A lot of times you think of Einstein or the iPhone or things like that. But there's a quote that's really resonated with me that comes up often in life. And it's about viewing change as an opportunity and not a threat. And that's kind of an innovative way of thinking, because usually most people's first gut reaction with change is to hunker down and to protect what you have. And so for me, it isn't always to go out there and force change, but when change occurs, how can you view that as an opportunity? And so innovation for me is creativity, but it's always looking for those moments of change and how we react to them. which then also leads to karma. You know, there's a thought out there that I think we've all heard before, is karma's a bitch, right? But here's the thing, I don't know if you believe in God, the universe, or etc., but I do believe in cause and effect. And I believe it doesn't always happen today, but I feel what you put out there does come back to you. And so that is how I approach everything. If you cheat, if you cut corners today, it may in the short term help you, but I always play the long-term game. And with karma, that's what I believe in, is always to take the approach that in the long term, that's what you're working towards. Environment. I do care about the environment, but this point has nothing to do about recycling or saving the earth. In fact, it's about one of the most powerful forces on earth, and its impact on each and every one of you. And that's your set of peers that you spend your time with. Those people that you consistently are exposed to. There's a quote out there that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. That is the most powerful force on you. And that's why I come to Toastmasters. That's why I purposely try to find people that have achieved more or that are in a better place than me so I can learn from them and get exposed to that environment. Simplicity. I think everybody knows Jeff Bezos on here. I'm sure everybody might have a different viewpoint of him, but nobody can deny what he's achieved. And his quote here is interesting: work hard, have fun, make history. Now that's probably too simple for anybody to really take from, but there's another culture within Amazon, a statement that I've been able to be exposed to. So I've been fortunate enough to work with Amazon for the last few years and be at the headquarters and be exposed to their teams. And what's really been able to make them successful, even though they get bigger and bigger, is this statement of bias for action. Really, bias for action. They are encouraged and forced to take action. I don't know how many of you personally or professionally have been in meetings and you debate the same topic over and over and over without any action being taken. You go look at numbers again. You go rationalize everything. That doesn't happen at Amazon. They have extremely smart people and they do think through things, but they ask the question, what is the first action we can take to even move this along and verify if our assumptions even make sense? That is something that stands out for me in my life and everybody else, is that thought of bias for action. And one bonus idea and concept that I've been thinking through and been exposed to as well, and along with this bias for action, but is the idea of standards versus goals. A lot of times as an organization, or even personally, you create a goal for the organization, but you don't spend the time creating the standards and the why behind it. And so to give a real life example, you may create a goal for yourself to lose 10 pounds, but that's not inspiring, right? That doesn't set the tone for why. You know, if you get in there because you want to set a standard for your family on health and wellness, if you want to get back to your fighting weight, you want to get back into something that really excites you, like that is the point of everything. And so for me, my bias to action was to come here and present this today to force me to reaffirm this. So thank you.